Good morning. We are here at day 1 for our 5-day challenge of the 5 secrets to help you getting beyond sugar cravings. So thank you so very much for coming on and joining me with this and being here. So I'll just give a second or two for people to come on and join me before we dive right in. So hello. I'm excited to have everyone here and excited to be doing this class with you. It's something that I've learned a lot from, and so I'm sharing some of the things that I've done, I've learned that I'll make a difference and that can help you too. So as you're coming on, please say hello, drop a little line or a heart or a thumbs up or something to let me know that you're here. So today I want to dive in to the topic about your critters versus your cells. Who is winning today? And that has a lot to do with how we understand our body. Good morning, Kayla. Thanks for tuning in. Glad you're here. So we have discovered, or science has been telling us for the last few years, that what they've realized about the body is that, number one, we have about 65 trillion cells in the body, which is a lot. However, there's 10 times more bacteria and microorganisms called our microbiome that make up our body. So when you think of your body, then we are really primarily more critters and bugs and bacteria than we are human cells. So what would that tell you? Or what would you conclude from that? That it's really important then to understand the care and the feeding and of your critters, I call them, and what they need to thrive. Because when they're in an environment where they can't do that, they will let you know in one way or the other that it's not working. Sugar cravings is one of those methods of communication. So throughout this week in this class, I'm going to be really stressing the type of environment that you're creating inside your body to support the thriving and healthy functioning of all of your bacteria, all the microbiome. Is crucial. It's one of the most pivotal, fundamental things to attend to in order to get beyond sugar cravings so they're no longer running your life. And then from there you can start to understand what the sugar cravings are actually telling you. That they're messages from your body that something is awry, rather than sugar cravings being something that you fight against or have an argument with and try to push and fight and have a lot of willpower, because as we know, that doesn't really work. So let's talk a little bit about, good morning, Debbie. Let's talk a little bit more about what the role of these bacteria do. They're largely concentrated in your gut, and they do a tremendous amount of things that we don't even understand in terms of digesting our food, making vitamins, nutrients, minerals, connecting or communicating with the immune system. There's so many different things that they do that you really, literally do not live without your microbiome. So to try and kill them off, it's a dead end. One of the things that the microbiome and the cells of your body do is they read the environment. Every cell, every bacteria, there's a drop of consciousness or intelligence within it. And so when you combine, 65 trillion cells with and then 10 times that number of bacteria, each one has a little bit of innate consciousness or intelligence. You add that up, that's a lot of intelligence, a lot of awareness that we are not consciously in tune with. But all of the awareness, all that intelligence of these critters in our cells is what runs our body, and they read the signals of the environment that they're living in which tells them how to function. And as a collective, they all defer to your mind, your thinking of you as an entity, as a being, as a spiritual being. Okay? They follow your thoughts. They follow your directive of your overall mental attitude, your emotions, and the beliefs that you carry about yourself and your body. So all of those energies of your thoughts and your feelings contribute to the environment that your cells and your microbiome are living in, and they read those signals. So if you are having thoughts that are more pessimistic and negative in nature about anything, whether it's yourself, your body, your life, your relationships, your money flow, the cells and microbiome of your body are listening to all of that, and they're responding accordingly. And we've heard for a long time the term of gut intuition or gut knowingness. You can think of that as communication channels from your gut microbiome to use your consciousness and your mind. So one of the things that contributes or that gives us that gut knowingness about things is the way that the microbiome are reading and interpreting the signals of your environment, both your outer environment of your world and the internal environment that you are creating within your body for them to live. Okay? So it's really important to pay attention to the kind of environment that you're creating for your critters, your cells, to live. When you have negative, more pessimistic thoughts and emotions and attitude coupled with a poor diet of processed, packaged, pretend foods, I call it, that's so prevalent in our society, that combined is creating a train wreck for your gut. Good morning. Thanks for tuning in. So the question becomes, what are you doing to provide a good environment? Because with a poor environment, they will respond negatively. They'll shift their chain. They'll shift their form and their function to accommodate the environment that they're living in. So when you have a lot of sugar cravings, that is one indication, one signal that the environment that you have created for your critters is off. Okay? So tune into that and say, oh, I need to adjust some things here because the environment is not conducive for my critters to thrive. Therefore, I'm not thriving very well. Okay? Just follow that. Give me a thumbs up if you get what I'm explaining and if it makes sense for you. Okay? Hello, good morning. Stop for a second and say hello to everybody. Kayla and Debbie and Dawn and Vicky and Kathy. Thanks for tuning in. So I want to also, while I'm taking this brief pause, really emphasize the importance of diving into this class this week, these 5 classes or videos that I'll be doing. And I'll be offering, good morning, daily activities for you to do. And at the end of the week, for all of you who do all 5 of the activities, I have a very special surprise and prize for you. So be one of those who gets the surprise or the prize and really participate in what we're doing, because this is for your benefit and helping you to get beyond sugar cravings, which is why we're all here. So the other thing I want to also mention before I go on to the next content piece is these videos will be up for 24 hours where you can listen to it and absorb it, take notes, do the daily activity, and then soon before the next day's video, then this is going to go away. So you will no longer have access to it. So make sure that you listen to it, take whatever notes you need before it goes away prior to the next one, okay? Thanks. Kathy and Drew. All right, so back to the environment that you're creating and making peace with your body. We have in our Western society, for the last 100 and so years, 125 or 30 years, really divorced ourselves from ancient wisdom that every other culture on the globe has and has kept intact in many ways, about how to care for the body, how to understand it. Principles of natural health, natural law of how the body is meant to function. Sadly, in our society, so much of that has been distorted and lost and taken over by the allopathic medicine model, which we have today dominating our culture, which is all about drug therapy, cutting, radiating, doing all kinds of invasive procedures, rather than really understanding how the body is meant to work. And as we know, that's creating loads and loads of problems. So one of the things that is prevalent in this model, and you may have recognized this in some way yourself, is that there's a view that the body is like a car. And it's an inanimate object that things wear out after a while. After so many miles, you take it into the mechanic to get the oil changed. Sometimes you have to take out parts and replace them. And that's really not how the body actually functions. You know, we've replaced drug therapy for ancient wisdom. And so just start to think about what kinds of messages you have adopted. We all have absorbed something. What have you absorbed in terms of what you understand your body to be and how what works and how to take care of it? You know, as women, then there's been an excessive amount of critical, unhealthy attitudes towards the body and towards women. And we've all absorbed all of that. And so check yourself, as I'm going to give you some examples and see, it's like, have you responded to some of these things, these attitudes, and how has that determined or influenced your care of your body? Okay. So for example, one prevalent idea has been that women are for the use and pleasure of men, whether it's as a sex object or a pretty trophy on his arm, or somebody to cook and clean for him, or have all kinds of babies, be a baby factory for him. And men in our society, there's this kind of attitude of that they're dispensable, that they can be thrown into wars, physical demanding situations where there's the possibility of them getting chopped up, blown up, hurt, and they're just dispensable, so you just kind of throw them away after they've been like chewed up. Okay, so much of this is really not positive at all in terms of valuing the body, valuing us, ourselves. However much you have absorbed that, where does all of that data, that energy of thought and emotion go? It's stored in the tissues of your body. And a lot of it gets stored in your gut, which then contributes to the environment that your microbiome and your cells are living in, and then they respond accordingly. So take a second today and just really think about what messages have you received from society, from the media, from religion, from your educational system, from the healthcare system, about what your body is, and how much of that is really very devaluing and disrespectful. Okay, because that does play a part. That does influence how we care for our bodies and what we eat. When that is the type of environment that your cells and your microbiome are living in, not only is it uncomfortable, it creates chaos, but the body wants to feel some semblance of pleasure and enjoyment and value. And therefore, it asks for sweetness, for pleasure. That's what sets up, or one thing that sets up sugar cravings. Hello, Holly. And so when we eat the sweetness, then there's a chemical shift in the body where the body will make serotonin or dopamine or other neurotransmitters and chemicals that allow the body to feel some semblance of pleasure. So if you have a lot of negative, pessimistic, unsupportive attitudes and beliefs about yourself and your body, then you eat sugar to sugarcoat all of that so that your body can sense some type of pleasure, albeit short-lived. You're setting yourself up, or that's one way to set up the cycle of sugar cravings, of sugar addiction. Okay? So just bring your awareness to this and think about it today. Is this something that you have expressed some way in your life? Okay. One of the things that sources that I studied from when I was learning a lot about nutrition and health and wellness, natural health, was from a man named Don Tolman. And so I refer to him a lot. Thanks, Drew. I refer to what I've learned from Don Tolman a lot in everything that I teach because it's based on ancient principles of health. He was a man that traveled extensively looking for what were some of the ancient cultures, ideas and practices about healthcare. How did they view the body? And he wrote it into this, compiled a lot of it in these big, huge books, and when I was reading through them, it made so much sense. There's so many light bulbs that went on in my head, and it really shifted how I viewed my body, which then shifted how I care for it. One of the things that really stood out that he learned from ancient cultures is that they viewed the body as being sacred. And if you look back into history, there's a lot of matriarchal, goddess worshiping cultures prior to our current civilization that we know of for the last 3,000 years. But before that, there was all through Europe, all through the Middle East, there was so many goddess worshiping cultures. It was prevalent. And all of them viewed the body, especially the feminine or the female body, as sacred, as highly valuable. It's your home that houses you. You as a spiritual being, your spirit, your soul, it houses you. And therefore, the functionings and everything that the body does is sacred and holy. Therefore, it's up to you as a spiritual being to determine the nature of the house that you live in. How comfortable is that house to you? And if it's not, take measures so that it becomes so. And so when I read this and really sat with it, it was a game changer for me because I hadn't really connected with my body, didn't really understand it, it was just like, ugh, do I have to deal with this? Because I didn't understand things. And so really shifting that in my mind of appreciating my body, valuing it, respecting it, loving it, all of the cells, all of the innate intelligence possessed by each one of these cells and the bacteria and all the microbiome, then that was such a difference for me. And that also contributed to me being able to release the connection and the draw towards sugar and junk and the sweet things, because I could give myself pleasure and sweetness in other ways. Do you follow that? So my question to you is, how do you care for your body? How do you view it? Do you argue with it? Or are you really kind of disconnected with it, and you just kind of unconsciously put food in and run about your day and do what you need to do and don't really think about it? So really start tuning into what are some of the things that you have been taught? What have you absorbed from the culture that's not life affirming, that's not supportive and respectful of your body? And take measures to shift that around. All right? So today's activity that I want to offer you is to think about what are some of the things that you do, the activities that you already do in your normal day-to-day routine that are for pampering or self-care or rejuvenating, things that just make you feel more loved. Like an Epsom salt bath with essential oils, or getting out in the sun, feeling the sun on your face, the wind in your hair, barefoot in the earth, with the earth, connecting to nature, a good conversation over a cup of tea with a friend, taking time to journal or meditate, to dance, exercise, feeling your body and how it moves and really relishing in that. What are some of the things that you do to nurture and nourish yourself? And now, coming from this new perspective, what can you add into or tweak some of those activities that you're already doing to infuse into it more love and respect and value for your body? You know, just kind of sit with that, make a couple of notes, think about what you're already doing, and just say, how can I make this experience that I'm already doing more nurturing, more respectful for me, to convey more love and appreciation for my microbiome? So that's the thoughts and the things. And then in the comments, I'll leave a separate post for today's activities. So that's where you'll put your responses. So what I'd like you to do is name, it's like, what is the one activity that you do, whether it's a bath or journaling or exercise or whatever the thing is, state that, and then also comment how you can infuse more love and nurturance and value for yourself and your body into that activity. Okay? So that's the activity today. So let me read through some of these comments. And naps are that's always helpful. Taking a break from life to go to the pool and do my arthritis aqua class, at least 2, that's very necessary. Taking the time out, and even being in water, that's wonderful, Dawn. Yes, I understand on the temptation of snacking and trying my hardest to make healthy. That is, I understand that. I've dealt with it, and I'll be sharing some more ideas that can help you with this week. Disconnected from my body, but I started working out with it. And the more we can really have a sense of connection with the body, meditation activities really help. That's how I've learned to do it. And then just understanding natural principles of how the body functions. You know, and it's an educational component as well as a lifestyle piece. So that relationship that we nurture with our body goes a long ways in really getting beyond sugar cravings, because the body feels loved and cared for and respected. Therefore, it doesn't need to ask for sickly sweet things to have a pseudo sense of pleasure. Okay? So that's the sharing for today. I think there's any other, essential oils, ginshindo. A lot of different activities. So thanks for tuning in. I will post the post for the threads for your responses for today's activity after this is over with. And enjoy the rest of your day. Come back to this, take notes if you want to, but you've got 24 hours to enjoy this video before it goes away. All right, so thank you so much for tuning in and being here. Tomorrow's class again will be at the same time. So thank you so much and enjoy your day.